Hi guys, so I hope you're doing amazingly well today, and I am here to talk about letting go. This is the last video in this whole letting go thing that I've decided to do, I think now a month back, and this part is gonna be, I think, one of the heaviest one and probably one of the most I don't have any answer kind of video. I talked about letting go as in, oh, letting go can be amazing and can bring you new opportunities, and that was my first video. If you haven't watched it, it's going to be linked down below. And then I talked about what I find really difficult in letting go, and that is letting go of relationships and expectations and feelings, and I talked about friendships. In this video I want to talk about the goals, the dreams, the projects that we have, and that we carry within ourselves sometimes for a very long time, that are very important to us, and that we keep in our heart sometimes for years on and years, even decades, and that we sometimes don't even really know if we really want to achieve them. And I don't know if you struggle with it, but I definitely do, and this is something that on a daily, I would say, brings me a reasonable part of sadness, and even more than sadness, it's this sense of anxiety sometimes. I think giving up on dreams, I mean, first of all, I'm saying giving up, and that's the first thing we should notice, because I think that ultimately the question is, do we let go of that or do we give up? And I think that's what's really difficult for me, is that I don't know if I'm letting go or if I'm just giving up. I don't know if I'm letting go because, yeah, that's not what I want to do anymore. I've grown out of this dream, I've grown out of this aspiration that I had, and I'm moving on with my life, and I'm moving on with my new hopes, my new project, my new goals, the new things that interest me and that I want to achieve in my life. Or if I'm just giving up because it's been years, because it's been difficult, because there hasn't been any sort of light or any sort of door opening for me. And I always struggle with that. I always struggle with knowing whether I should give up or let go, or if it's letting go, or whether I should pursue this even further, whether I should hold on a bit more. I don't know if I'm being just stubborn and unrealistic, or if by giving up I would just be yeah, basically giving up on something that still matters to me, that still holds meaning, and that I still really care about. I never really know where the line is, and I think that being in this indecisive state and not really knowing where you stand is a very painful thing, and it's also very paralyzing, which is of course a huge anxiety factor. At least for me it is. I know that whenever I feel like I'm not moving, I feel very anxious, I feel very worried, I feel very, yeah, I would say anxious is probably the best word. I feel very anxious because I feel like my time is limited. I mean, I don't feel like my time is limited. My time is limited, and I don't want to be in this productive mindset, because it's not about being productive. It's just doing the things I want to do in life, living my life to the fullest. And living my life to the fullest also means having days when I don't really do anything, doing things that I'm not really good at, doing things that won't have any sort of value in this capitalist world. But yeah, there are still things that I want to achieve, and things that do require a bit of work, do require a bit of effort, and I sometimes really don't know whether I should continue trying to achieve those things, or whether I should just let go gracefully and accept that past me really liked that, past me really wanted to do that, but current me doesn't really want to do that anymore. And not because it's too difficult, not because I didn't have you know, the opportunity to do that, but just because I changed, and we accept that we change. It's a given. But if we change, my cat is trying, shashu. But if we accept that we as individuals are changing, it should be only normal that to accept that our dreams are changing. Yet it is, I think, a very difficult thing to do, and it's also something that's seen by society as a failure. And I am just gonna, I think, change location because the light is a bit weird. Hold on. Okay, I think that's better now, but the light isn't great today because it's a gloomy kind of, the light is weird. Anyway, so Yeah, I was telling you about dreams, right? One of my many curses in life is that I have a lot of dreams and I have a lot of interest and I have a lot of feelings. And there are many things I love, many things I would like to pursue. And when you have so many things that you would like to do, so many things that you're interested in, it is really easy to kind of scatter your thoughts and your energy and to be decently good at many things but not really good at one thing, if you know what I mean. So for example, I love drawing, I love painting, I love writing, I love photography, I love video editing, and that's already a lot of things to do. On top of that, obviously, I love reading and analyzing literature, and that's something that takes a lot of my time because I have a literary channel, right? And I would ideally like to achieve sort of a goal in all those areas. I would love to be able to put out videos that are more edited, and I love doing vlogs because I feel like I can put a little bit of poetry in that, if you know what I mean. I love my travel videos in French, but they have English subtitles, so I will link one of them below. I also started a new series, which of course has been interrupted because of the current situation, right, where I travel to places and I present books based, like I traveled for example to Berlin and I talked about books written by German authors set in Berlin, or with authors who were born or lived in Berlin, and I go to specific places that have been mentioned in books and whatnot, and that's a lot of work, right? And I love experimenting with my videos, but I feel like that's something that doesn't really shine through my channel because it's so erratic in terms of schedule and uploads, and because I do this sitting down and chatting with you videos that of course don't require a lot of editing. They require some work because I'm being vulnerable, but also because sometimes they are scripted, sometimes it's about, you know, history, literature, politics, feminism, but they don't really convey, I think, like what I like in video editing and video filming and video making, basically. And then I love writing, and that's like the most painful thing of all, and I sometimes kind of mention it briefly because I can't really talk about it for too long because that really pains me. I've started writing when I was really young, and I always used to write stories and poetry, and then I stopped writing poetry because that's something I'm really not good at, but then I kept on writing prose because I think I can write somehow decently. But writing is so intense and so personal and so draining that it's something I have stopped doing a few years ago. And it's kind of strange saying that because to me it feels like I never really stopped. It feels like I'm writing in my head. I'm always thinking of ideas and characters and character development and plots that could be interesting, and I'm thinking, oh, a book should be written about that. Oh, I'd love to write a book about that. Oh, I could definitely write using this kind of style effect, and I should really use metaphors in that way. And I always write little things on my phone and on papers, and I feel like I'm writing in a way that's, you know, I'm not writing on paper or a computer, but I'm writing in my head. And that's in the good days. In the good days, I'm like, I just need a little bit more time. I'm still young. I will eventually write this book one day because, of course, I want to be published. Like, my number one dream probably is to be published. And sometimes in the bad days, I think to myself, you're so silly for saying that. You dream of being published and you say that's your number one dream, but you're not writing a single line a day. And it's been like that for years. So are you even still dreaming of being published, or are you still holding on to a dream that used to be yours but is not anymore? And sometimes, honestly, I'm like, maybe it's just vanity. Maybe it's just my ego. Maybe I just want to say I have accomplish that because I used to dream about that for so long. Maybe it's just because that's an ideal that I have personally. That's not everyone's ideals, of course, but sometimes I'm really confused as to what my feelings truly are. And this brings a lot of pain, as I said, at least to me. And this also is very destructive for my self-esteem and paralyzes me. And of course, when I'm paralyzed, I'm not doing anything. And then there is drawing, and I'm like, oh, I've shared a few of my illustrations online on my literary account, and they did really well. People loved them. People asked me, how long have you been drawing for? Do you think you're gonna sell your illustrations one day? Oh, I love that, blah blah blah. And that's so nice, and really that warms my heart so much, because I never expected for people to say anything along those lines. Drawing is much more a hobby. It's not as deep and as strong and as powerful as writing. It really isn't. But still, I love drawing. When I draw, I am so relaxed. I forget about the world around me, and I love that, but I don't really take the time to do that. And sometimes I think to myself, okay, are you really just into drawing for yourself on days when you feel like it, or is it something that you want to pursue, you want to train more regularly, and you want to practice so that you can improve, get better, and perhaps even create more things? Like, I'm just sometimes so confused as to how I want to treat those things. And sometimes the answer is a lot more simple. When I was younger, I really wanted to okay, when I was younger, like 20, I was really into burlesque, and I loved that. I loved pole dance, I loved burlesque shows, I loved the whole art of like stripping, but you know what I mean, kind of detail on tease, and I really like that. I wanted even to take classes, and I wanted to perhaps have a website for that. I even contacted some companies and some people to, inquire about different and various things. That's something I gave up on, or it's something I let go of, because that really stopped interesting me. The answer was pretty simple. Similarly, I used to model, and I did a lot of, I did quite some modeling, and I really like the pictures that I have now as memories, and I loved it the time it lasted. But one day I just realized, okay, that's not something I'm interested in anymore. It doesn't bring me joy. I don't really need it. I don't really take anything positive from it, and that's even perhaps a little bit in contradiction with the direction I want to take in my life and the values that I want to hold close to my heart. So I stopped. Once again, the answer was very simple. So these are dreams that I had, and that were good while I had them. I had, projects and goals and people I wanted to work with, and most of the things I wanted to do, I did them. And when I didn't want to do them anymore, and even sometimes very early on, the project, the dream, the goal just vanished, and it was fine, because that was natural. But I am now at a point where it doesn't feel natural anymore. It's just lingering, kind of, and I'm like, okay, do I need to let go of that, or am I giving up? Do I need to hold on to this and be patient, or do I need to try harder, or what? And I genuinely don't know. And I think that we put so much of ourselves into what we do, and sometimes what we do, what we achieve, is so it is basically who we are. It's our identity, and that's of course made even more so and the case by the society that we live in. We can't exist for ourselves, we can't exist for who we are, and we have to be of value. We have to put something out in the world for others to see, and others to be like, oh, okay, she's the one doing that, he's the one doing that, instead of he's da-da-da, she's da-da-da. And I try to distance myself from this very toxic, in my opinion, and harmful ways of perceiving ourselves and what we should do on earth, sorry, and in our lives. But I believe that as human beings, we also desire things, and we also build, and we also create. And I think for people it's different, you know, it's going to be different for everybody. I am a very creative person. I create constantly. My head is full of questions and creativity, and I see things, I believe, in a way that is perhaps not very usual. Okay? I don't think that means I'm better or I'm worse than anybody. It's just what I am. And that there are things I like. I like the sense of logic. I like commitment and discipline, and I like a lot of things. I can't really... There are also arts I'm so bad at, like music. That's something I will never be able to do. I am so bad at that. But there are the things I know. I have sort of like a feeling for it, a little something for those things, and it hurts to not know what to do and how to act and how to carry, I would say, these goals, these dreams of mine. And obviously the biggest dream is to be published, the biggest dream is to write, and having a dream for so many years and not knowing what to do with it, and not being in the state of mind where you can really do something about it is a very painful thing. And there are dreams that I let go of. There are new dreams that appeared. Some stayed, some vanished as well. And there are also dreams that I've had forever and that I still carry with me. And in the bad days, I'm like, I should really give up. I should really let go. You're being stubborn. That's an illusion. And in better days, I'm like, no, that's not. That's something I want to hold really dear and close to my heart, and when the time will come, the time will come. But that's a turmoil. That's so many emotions, so many conflicted emotions in just one person. And then you have, of course, the practical daily life that you have to go through every single day, and that's I think a lot to carry, and that's something we don't really talk too much about. The dreams, letting go of the dream, letting go or giving up, pursuing this dream or not. Why do we want that? Why do we have that goal? Why do we have that dreams? Are dreams meant to be fulfilled? It doesn't bring pain only if they're not fulfilled. Can they be fulfilled in different ways than the one we envision? I mean, so many questions really. And as I said, this video is not gonna be answer, and it's mostly gonna be questions, and it's mostly me being honest in front of you, being very, very vulnerable. And yeah, I just wanted to share that, and I'm really interested in reading your comments about that, guys, because I don't know, I think that's going to be really interesting, and I hope you can feel comfortable enough to share your dreams or goals or some stories on this topic, because I believe that this could be a very interesting and also a very stimulating discussion and exchange. And I want to thank you in advance for those of you who will share this vulnerability, because that's something very intimate, and I do appreciate the fact that you are willing perhaps to share with me, and people will read the comment about that. So yeah, I'm gonna stop this video now, and that's gonna be the end of this letting go triptych in video format. Let me know if there are any other things you would like me to talk about, like, you know, in this type of raw emotion sort of videos. And I hope you're doing well, and I will see you later, guys.